Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? Um, Hello, Tanji. Hello, Melina. Hello, Shelly. Hello, Brianna's here. Anna's here. Okay. Oh my goodness, so many people. I'm excited to see you guys. I'm excited to do this. It's been a long time coming because normally when I do something, it happens quite quickly after I decide to do it. And this time I had to wait. And it was a long wait for me. So I'm very excited. Thank you. I almost chopped off my hair yesterday and I changed my mind when she got the scissor out and I'm like, you know what? No. This winter I'm gonna let it grow and then I'm gonna bring it back there in the spring instead. So that's the vibe. All right. Okay. So before I start, thank you. Who is feeling the solar flares right now? It's so funny how every time I decide to do something, there's always a massive solar flare that happens. And right now we have Mercury that's retrograde, and then we have had a X5 solar flare, which sometimes even creates blackout, like it can like fry satellites and like electricity and Wi-Fi and stuff like that. So there's two things with communication and technology that is happening right now. So far we're good. The Wi-Fi is going well. Everything is going well. So I hope it's going to stay this way. Yesterday, when the solar flare happened, I was extremely wiped out, and I woke up after sleeping maybe 5 minutes, and I feel amazing today. So I'm glad that I got the energy for this. Probably going to be tired afterwards, though. You know I am. Brianna and I are very sensitive to electromagnetic fields. I feel all the energy. Chef, feeling the flares big time. My sleep is so regular. All right, so hopefully my manifestor energy is going to give you guys some activation today because we're going to talk about unattached. And unattached is a very important topic for me. It's something that is extremely important to understand when we are in business, when we're women making money, when we want to create the reality of our dreams. And it's something that I have in terms of conversation a lot of time with my clients because it comes all the time into our lives. It comes all the time. So one of the reason why I've created Unattached, why I've created the masterclass that you're in today, is because I noticed something that I was attached to. When I decided to do Unattached, it was after a conversation that I had with a private client where she had attachment to the type of success that she had last year. And this year, her success looks different. And for her, she is trying to find validation into old results in order to create a reality again today. But things change. We never stay in the same circumstances. The world's changed, the economy changes, the trends changes, everything changes. And when we get attached to something that's no longer available, we create an, atta- an, an attachment that is going to make it that we cannot create the results that we want. And when we're attached to something, it slows down our manifestation. It slows down our ability to create what we want. So a lot of times when someone is attached to something, it's something like engagement. If there's no engagement on their post in their head, it means that they're not going to make a lot of sales, for example. For me, and the reason, and we have Goody, of course, that's always here for to hopefully she does not bring this down because don't get a bra down. Okay, so if you guys see something you're not supposed to see, let me know. All right, so when I decided to do Unattached as a masterclass for everyone is because I noticed my attachment. If you guys are not aware of my story in a nutshell, I have been suffering with health issues that was created from trauma. My mom got sick when I was about 20 years old, and everyone in my family ended up getting cancer. A lot of people died. Back then, I was dating someone that was in a criminal organization. He got murdered 10 days after my mom passed away. Like it was trauma after trauma after trauma. And I decided to book a one-way ticket to Italy and never come back. I ended up traveling for almost 10 years. I've lived and been to 44 countries while struggling with health issues and never allowing my health issues to stop me from getting what I want or to going where I wanted to go. Until one day, something fell on top of my head, created brain damage, and then all of a sudden I was attached to my physical condition for the first time. So that thing that fell on my head about 2.5 years ago made it that I get vertigo often. I get migraines. Sometimes all of a sudden I'm not going to feel good. It could happen during a call or during even unattached that I have to stop because everything starts spinning. It's more rare now because they gave me a medication that is helping. However, I'm starting a new treatment that's making my body reacts to my medication a little bit differently. It's like stronger now. So it's a little bit of an adjustment. But since I got that brain damage, I have decided that I cannot grow my business because I don't have the capacity. And when it happened that I got the diagnosis that this is permanent, you're never going to be normal again, I decided to close multiple of my businesses. I had 6 businesses at the time, and I decided to close everything except my coaching one because coaching is my zone of genius. It's so easy for me to coach. It's so easy for me to help my clients. It's so easy for me to do calls and stuff like that. But growing my business, that felt like pressure. And what I realize is I'm still delivering the same value, if not better, to my clients. I'm still doing many calls behind the scene. I'm still functioning like I did before. The only difference is I'm not trying to grow my business. I'm just delivering value to my clients because I'm attached to the fact that it might happen that I'm gonna go too much into pressure and it's going to affect my health. But if I'm looking back at the last year, I haven't had to, like, there's only one call that I think I had to reschedule in the entire year. So it's not true that I don't have capacity, but because I fear I won't, and I'm attached to that, I decided to stop growing my business. One thing that I haven't changed is making money because I'm not attached to money coming from my efforts. And because of that, I continue having money coming in always in ways that oftentimes makes no sense, things that I cannot predict, things that I can't just create because I'm not attached to how the money is going to come. I've already done that work. But because I'm attached to how I'm growing my business, my business stopped growing while I still manifested a lot of money into my life every month for the past 2.5 years. So this is what happened when we're attached. When we're attached to something needing to be a part of the circumstances, we stop our growth, we stop our results. And for you, it might be something about money. It could be about health. It could be about love. It could be partnerships. It could be your fitness goals. It could be other things. But today we're gonna make it specifically around money and around success because that is the goal of the conversation. So in the Energetic Empires, my membership, I do calls that are now, it's a new feature. It's called the Wealthy Woman Identity Calls. And this is one of the calls that you get access to for free. And I'm not going to be promoting anything today. So there's no pitch, there's nothing. I know that when people know they want to work with me, they don't need a pitch in order to reach out because I'm unattached to needing to do a pitch. So because of that, I'm not going to do or promote anything. I really want to give you value. So you're not going to sit through an hour-long pitch in this conversation. And there's going to be some interactive moments as well. So for those that are able to be here live, I'm grateful that you're here live. We're going to be doing some journaling today. I'm not sure how long this call is going to go. I put 2 hours because oftentimes I go over and then I'm like, damn it, sorry guys, I messed up the schedule. So I made sure that there's enough time so we can take our time into doing everything. So attachment is the energetics of 3 things: possibility, potential, and power. It's the way that we decide what is our potential, what is the possibility of the things happening, and how we hold the power. If there's something in that equation that is not working, if there's something that's not connected, if I'm not in my power, or if I'm not believing in my potential, or if I'm not thinking about other possibility of things happening the way that I want it to happen, or the way that it could happen that I haven't even thought about, then I become attached. And when I'm attached, like I said, it's not creating the right results. When we create or when we see evidence of something working a certain way, we create an attachment to it. And the reason why, it's because every of our efforts are validated by our results. So when I do an effort, like I'm doing something, if I'm doing something and I'm not sure if it's going to bring a result, it's not making me feel safe because I don't know if it's going to work. But if I've done something in the past and it worked, and I know it can work, then I'm validated into my effort. It's going to bring me a result. But now if I do the thing that's supposed to be working and now all of a sudden it's not working anymore, I feel unsafe. So our brains will attach to things, and it's how we're feeling safe in order to continue putting in efforts into things, but it's going to attach to safety. So I'll give you an example. A lot of times we think that someone that has a big following will make a lot of money. The bigger the audience, the bigger the results. And that's not true, but that's an attachment to the more people, the more potential, right? So I had a client once that she had over 800,000 followers on Instagram and she was making zero with her following. And then at the same time, I had another client that had 200 followers on Instagram, and we built a business that made over $200,000 a year within the year that she worked with me. So why is the person with the big following not creating the same thing than the person without the big following? It's because my client that did not have a big following was not attached to needing a big following. So if you think that you need a big following, then you're going to never be able to create the results you want until you have the big following. And if you think that you have a big following, but they're not engaged enough, then you're never going to think that there's something you can do with that big following. And then if you think that the people that are following you are not following you for the reasons that you want, then you're not going to think it's the right audience. We're always going to find a reason why it's not the right thing, or we can find a reason why it is the right thing. It's the same principle that if I don't have engagement on a post, it means the post did not work. Most of the time when I don't have an engagement on a post, it's because the person that bought or the people that bought went straight to my DMs and did not take the time to engage on the post because they wanted to act quickly on the offer. So if I believe that engagement is the reason why we create revenue, then I'm always going to need engagement. And when I don't have engagement on my post, I'm going to think things are not working, and I'm going to completely shut the door of things that can work. So efforts plus no result means wasted energy. If I try to avoid wasting my energy, I'm always going to need to validate my efforts before putting myself to work. And that is attachment. So I'll give you a very simple analogy to make sense of it. If I want to create the number 10, then I know that 5 plus 5 equals 10, right? But you can also do 6 plus 4 equals 10. It's just that your brain is going to decide that because 5 plus 5 equals 10, you're always going to need 2 5s in order to create 10. And you're going to forget the potential of finding different combinations. You're going to stop being in your power into finding a way to make it to 10. And you're going to forget that there are so many possibilities outside of the 5 plus 5 that you can find to make the 10. It's the same way that we do with all of our manifestation, our desires, everything. The way that we want to be safe is the way that's getting in our way because it makes us attached to things. So I'm going to tell you a few things, a few ways that people stay attached. And I want you, when I'm naming the thing, I want you to drop in the chat whether yes or no. Did you ever make it mean something? Like you got attached to this being right, okay? So let's start with the algorithm. Did you ever think that when the algorithm change, you cannot reach the success because all of a sudden you're not reaching the right people or your posts are not being seen and all these things? Did you ever think that you don't have engagement on a post and that means that you're not going to make sales today because there's no engagement on the post? Did you ever think that because you're not having a lot of stories view on Instagram or Facebook, then it means that no one is gonna buy what you're promoting. You're unlikely to make sales on your stories because there's a little views. Did you ever think that when the economy goes wrong, when things like people are saying the economy is hard or the market crashed, then it means that it's going to impact the money you're making? Did you ever think that when you're noticing people saying online that people are not buying the same way, whether like people that are saying like sales are slow, people are not buying anymore, the coaching bubble has bursted, courses are dead, like did you ever think that this could be true for you and that's the reason why your sales are slow? Did you ever think that when there's a big, like a war, something big happening in the world, like a presidency, like an election, did you ever think that because it changes the economy that it could affect your business? Did you ever think that when you make a post and no one inquires the day of posting about your new offer that you're really excited about, it means that offer is not going to perform well? Did you ever think that when you're launching something, let's say you're doing a free event in order to promote something, the number of people coming means more chance. So the more people there is in your freebie, the more chance you have to make money. And then when there's not a lot of people, it means you're not going to make money with it. Did you ever think that if you made $10,000 last month, then it means that you're probably going to make around the same amount this month? You're not thinking that maybe this month could be an $80,000 month. Did you ever think that if you did a launch and the launch went well and you made money, but next month you don't have anything planned to make money, then it means that the next month is not going to be another high cash month? So you can see there's so many people that said yes, and there's also people that said no to some of these things. And these are attachments. There's things that we naturally get attached to, and there's things that we're not attached to because we have not attached our result to that thing. Probably because we created evidence that it's not, you don't need it in order to be successful. So if I don't believe that the market is going to impact how much money I make, I don't care that the market crashes. But if I used to be a financial broker, and when the market crashes, no one wants to invest into new products, so I knew that it means I'm not going to make commission this month, and I made it be true because I did not think that it could be possible. So I became a match for it being true. I did not really reach out to people because I'm like, they're going to be in panic in a way because right now they're losing money with the market. So I'm not going to reach out to them to put more money in. Who knows? Some people are not affected by the market. Some people love to invest when the market crashes. And I was only making myself a match to what I believe was true because of my attachment. So there are so many ways that we get attached and we're not even noticing. And that's what I meant at the beginning. I was attached to not being able to do any free things because my capacity is lower, but I was not attached to not making high cash month. So I continue making high cash month without growing my email list and without growing my business, without building funnels. And in the last 2 weeks, I worked on the rebrand of my energetic empires. I built an entire funnel. I prepared and promoted unattached, and I serve my clients. And I still have a brain injury. So was it true that I don't have capacity to grow my business? No, but I made it mean something for me. And there's always going to be ways that we get attached to things, and sometimes it's so sneaky. And one of the things that for me, when I have my friends, and I'm all about ethical marketing, and sometimes I have my girlfriends that are gonna like send me a post about someone posting something unethical, and she's going to criticize or judge the person. And there's something in my brain that's gonna connect. If I make this milestone that the person is celebrating, then it means I'm unethical. Then it means people that I care about and that I respect their opinion are gonna criticize me. then that means I might get judged by the people I love. And without even noting it, I might stop myself from reaching that amount of money or that result that the person was celebrating because I'm attached to what someone is thinking, and I'd rather not go through that feeling of being judged or not being respected by someone I love. This is a sneaky way that we're going to get attached, but that could be one of the ways. I remember when I bought my Porsche, I was the first person in my family to ever get a nice car. And I was attached to what people were going to say about my car so much. It was so hard for me. It's like I needed to give them a disclaimer that I'm coming with a Porsche. And it took over a year before I stopped feeling like I need to park away from the parking lot when I go to, like, let's say a dinner, because I don't want people to see my car because they're going to comment on my car. Because I was attached to what people were thinking about, and I was not in my full power when it came to I love cars. I've always wanted this car. I gave myself this car, and this is amazing. This is a proof that we get to have what we want. We don't need to have a rich dad or a rich boyfriend to buy us things. We can do it ourselves. Like I could have been super proud, but instead I felt ashamed because I knew people would judge. The first time I had him like I think it was $300,000 that year. And I told my dad, oh my God, I made $300,000 this year. His answer was, wow, you're going to pay a lot of taxes. And I could be attached to, if I make a lot of money, I will pay a lot of taxes, instead of, if I make a lot of money, then I have a lot of taxes to pay because I have a lot of money, and not be attached to the fact that, of course, if I make more, I spend more on taxes, but also there's ways that you can reduce your profit by having more expenses and investment into your business. That's not what the call is about, but that is how I felt. So I was like, my dad is attached to taxes, not to income. So for my dad, and he told me afterwards that he's had people in the past offering him to launch his own company because he was really good at what he was doing. He was a painter for industrial buildings, and people offered him to launch a company, and he said no because he didn't want to have to worry about the taxes and stuff. He got so attached to not paying taxes that he makes sure to be broke. And guess who is paying her dad's bills right now? Me. That pays a lot of taxes is also paying the bills of my dad, who's afraid of taxes. So if I would have been attached to taxes being bad, then I would have never want to make over a certain amount of money, because then that means I change tax bracket. And right now I'm in the 1% tax bracket. So I pay a lot of taxes, and I got to be okay with that because I decided not to be attached to taxes. And in order for me to feel good about it, I made sure that I put a percentage of my revenue every month aside. I have a really, really good accountant that's specializing in taxes that is doing my books every month. I'm aware of all of the ways that every time we do our books, he gives me options, and then I decide which one is best when it comes to my taxes and all these things. But I had to make sure that I was not attached to paying taxes, and I was more unattached when it comes to the responsibilities, and more attached to the woman I'm becoming, and be proud of the fact that the reason why there's free healthcare in Canada is because of me. I'm the person that pays for all of y'all. Okay, maybe not. But that's how I feel. I feel like I'm contributing to the country. I feel like because of people like me, there's people that don't have a lot of money that gets to have services they could not afford, and it feels really good. So now I'm starting to talk about becoming, and that's going to be how we become unattached. I want to also, I felt that way when I had my Audi convertible. That's amazing. What a car. And there's another way that also I want to talk about when it comes to being attached that we're not necessarily thinking about, is if I used to make a certain amount of money and now I'm not anymore, there's a part of me that might feel attached to not being good enough until I make it again. And that could have been me after my brain injury, because even though I still continue making a really good amount of money, I was not in control of how the money was coming. And the money was maybe not always coming from where I wanted it to come. Like I could have wanted to come from more of, like, let's say unattached. I barely created content for unattached because I was using the capacity I had and I was not attached to how many signups comes. Like I'd never even looked, like I looked at the first day, we had 50 people registered and then I never looked again because I don't want to be attached to how many. And if my efforts are working, I just want to be focused on who I'm becoming in this masterclass and who's going to become someone with this masterclass instead of being attached to the result and the metrics of the masterclass. And if I'm thinking, well, in the past, I would launch a masterclass and within hours, I would have 300 people that are signing up. And now I only had 50 on the first day. I'm gonna feel really bad instead of feeling really good that there's still 50 people that as soon as I launch something wants to be a part of it. And when we're looking at where we're getting attached to, it sometimes comes from not good enough. So there's either we're attaching to results that we know have worked, or we're attaching to an old version of us because we're not focusing on who we're becoming and the identity we are building now. And we're not giving ourselves credit for what we're doing. If I'm sick and I'm able to create multiple 5 figures months still while not working a lot, that's amazing. Why am I thinking about how much more I could make if I was not sick? If I'm heartbroken and I'm able to go to the gym twice in a week and eat well most of the time, but I don't go 5 days a week like I used to go before, why am I attaching my worthiness to it not being good enough instead of being attached to the fact that I still show up? And this is something that's really important to understand because it's impossible not to have lower seasons. We're going to have lower seasons in all the areas of our lives, in our health, in our finances, in the economy, in our business, in our growth, in our fitness journey, in our relationships, in like everything's going to have a low season. If we're needing the season to always be better than the last one, we're not creating a life where we can actually build something beautiful and be proud of it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do some journaling because I really want you guys to be clear about what is it that you're attaching yourself to right now. Because in the second part of the masterclass, we're going to talk about how to become unattached and how my too good to be true formula works when it comes to being unattached. So what I'm going to give you guys into, let me grab the prompts. You're going to journal and I'm going to give you 10 minutes. So after I give the prompt, I'm going to close my camera and 10 minutes later, like at 12:40, because now it's 12:30, we're going to come back. Now I want you to journal and then put whatever comes up in the chat so I can quickly skim through it. What is the thing in your life that is currently bothering you the most because it's not going as planned? And then why do you think it's not going well? Where's the attachment? So this is really important. What is the thing and why? So it could be, I'm not making the money I want. Why? Because my posts are not being seen and there's not enough people on my email list would be an example. Okay, so I'm giving you 10 minutes. I'll see you again in 10 and then we're going to talk about what's next. Alrighty. I'm gonna start reading what's going on in the chat. Could you come? Okay, let's see what you guys came up. I was working on writing my book, and a past mentor tried to sabotage me, which led to excluding her in our collaboration out of my life because I was fully focused on writing the book. I felt like I was not promoting enough because I was pouring my energy into the biggest project of my life so far. It is slow in business, but energetically, it is very well sustained because I have worked only with my dream clients lately and I made enough to sustain it. But my expectation was that I would be in a different place by this time. I had to detach. So I worked on a lot of detachment lately, but I didn't quite think of this aspect up until this question. Now I understand it. This is the becoming part is going to be the most important, and you guys are going to see how these examples are going to dissolve when I cover this. Anna says, what's bothering me the most is that many new clients signups is less consistent than usual in my business. I'm telling myself that it's because I'm healing from surgery, because I lost my momentum due to health issues, because I feel like I'm not being strategic enough or prolific enough, but really it's because I'm attached to the idea that more output should yield more input. So this is also what a perfect example of being attached to an old version of ourselves because we know we cannot do the same thing that we normally do, or because we know that when we're in the zone, it's easier. And it's true that it's easier in the zone. So what I tell myself when it comes to if I don't have a lot of capacity, and most days I don't feel like showing up, I don't feel like promoting, I don't feel good enough to attract, I don't feel like my capacity is able to hold the momentum, then I only need a couple days per month where I can create miracles, and then I can hit over my goals. I just need to make sure that my energy is solid enough on like the days where I feel good, I'm creating what I need instead of expecting it to be every day like it used to be. So these are little shifts that it's all about our becoming and not about our past results. Let me continue looking at things. It feels like no matter what I do, it doesn't work. I believe in part due to exhaustion, extreme exhaustion, and I determined to focus on my own health and well-being right now. Once again, when we're detaching and we're deciding that our health is not going to be a part of the equation. We don't need the health in order to get the 10. We don't need 2 5s in order to get the 10. It becomes easier, but we need to think about how is it going to happen without it though. So that's what we're going to talk about. Okay, so I'm not going to read everything because otherwise it's gonna take too long. But I want you to hold these attachments that you've created. I want you to keep them in mind. And I want you to now contemplate the difference between finding evidence and becoming evidence. This is something that for me, I have really worked on a lot in my life. It's not, I never wanted to like hit $100,000 a month. I wanted to be the woman that creates hundreds of thousands of dollars every year. And that made me focus on different things. Because when we're focusing on hitting a goal, we're putting all of our energy into the goal, into making it happen. When we're focusing on becoming the woman that has that goal as a part of integration, an integrated part of her life, we're not moving the same. So when I was building my funnels, when everyone was selling and then promoting and making a lot more money than me, I knew that these funnels were assets that were going to build my business. When I bought Bitcoin in 2012, when it was, I think it was $300, and everyone was focused on um, their job and their salaries and all these things and didn't understand what I was doing, I knew that long term it was something that I was willing, I didn't know would get this far, but I knew that it was something that I was doing as a part of my becoming. It's not just that I want to do it once, it's that I want to do it forever. When I started traveling, I did not tell myself I need to go to 44 countries. I wanted to become the woman that is a nomad, that lives everywhere, that wherever she lays her head at night is home. Like that's what I wanted, that's what I created. But I never thought, okay, I need to hit 44 countries and then get really tired of traveling and retire. That's not what happened. I'm going to give you a analogy that's going to probably explain it the best. If I'm playing poker, and I want to win a poker game, and I go play a game of poker and I win. It does not make me a good poker player. It just means that everything was there for me to win the game. The only way that I can win poker game with that reality is if I recreate that same game. I have the same cards, I play the same cards, and people have the same cards and everything is the same. Then I can recreate it again, but I know I can't. If I'm focusing on, I want to become one of the best poker player in the world, it doesn't matter if I win this game or not. It doesn't matter what cards I have in my hand because I'm going to be playing forever. This game is not going to be something I remember. There's going to be games where that showed me what the potential is. It's gonna be like, holy moly, like you can be almost dead and then end up winning the tournament. You can play a tournament where with people much better than you and then end up winning and then you can lose. But that doesn't mean anything because the reality that I'm building is me becoming a pro poker player, not just me winning a poker game. And a lot of times what people are doing online is like, let's say my biggest month is 20,000. Now I want to hit $30,000 a month. And that's all I'm focusing on, how to create $30,000 a month so I can hit the $30,000 a month. That's not becoming the woman that makes $30,000 a month. And that's the reason why in my membership, I focus now on holding $30,000 months because I can give you a strategy that's going to probably help you hit it if the right circumstances are there, but it's not going to hit it every month. Becoming the woman that has a business that creates the assets, the revenue stream, and has the identity to hold $30,000 a month is a whole different game. It's a long-term game, it's an identity game, it's a patience and grace game. It's not just going all in. Like everyone can go at poker, play all in the first hand, win, and then think they're a good poker player, but they're not. And that's what having a high cash month feels like to me. You got lucky. The circumstances were on your side. But if you're able to reproduce it every month, now you're a good poker player, not just lucky. So when we try to open up our possibilities, when we're trying to see our potential, when we're trying to stay in our power, it's important that I love poker too. For about 6 months in my life, I was paying my bills with playing poker. And the minute that I started getting bored of it, it never worked again. I just lost all the games since. So I don't play poker anymore. Okay, I digress. So when we are focusing on who we're becoming, instead of focusing on the specific goal, it changes what we're doing because now it's not about hitting a goal, it's about creating a reality. It's about the circumstances are not important because it's something that you're going to be doing forever. If I'm becoming someone that makes $30,000 a month every month, there's no pressure into what I sell this month. It's more like what type of product suite do I need and what type of long-term strategy do I need? What type of audience am I talking to? What type of things do I do every day in order to create that reality? Not just, well, if I want to hit a $30,000 a month, let me create an offer where that's $30,000 painful and focus on finding that one client, and then I don't know how to do it again. And this is really important when it comes to being unattached. If we're not having fun, we don't. Well, here's the thing, we can create the results. It's just we're creating the results in a life that we're not loving. And a lot of time that's what happens when I saw people, like, let's say they had wanted to hit $100,000 a month and they were so close and they really, their ego wanted to hit the 100,000. So they started saying yes to clients that they didn't want to work with or sell things that they didn't want to do because they wanted to hit the goal. And then they created a reality they were unhappy with because they were no longer doing it from a way that feels aligned. And so oftentimes when we are attached to a certain goal and circumstances to create the goal, we're not seeing what else is available, and then we're creating things that are online. So if I decide that for me, I'm gonna make $1 million and it's not gonna require a big audience and a big email list, I need to make sure that I create everything in my power for this to come true. It is, thank you, Gloria. It is not just about I I create a strategy and I follow it. It's about who am I gonna be? And when people are saying who's the woman that who's the next level version you, who's the higher self version of you, it's not tangible enough to ask ourselves this question. I can tell you how I dress and what perfume I wear, of course, but it doesn't mean that I'm gonna give you the recipe on how to make it. So what I want to introduce you to is something that I make my clients do every month. Every month, every time there is something that is changing in their life that makes them attached to a way that they want to recreate something and it's no longer available. So, okay, I have a client. I don't know, I think she's here. She's recently lost an income stream that brings her $20,000 a month. That's a big income stream, right? And if we're staying attached to that way of making money that no longer feels aligned, she's going to force that revenue stream to keep working, and it's not going to feel good. She's going to create misalignment in her life. She's not going to be happy. Her nervous system's not going to feel good because she wants to keep the things that makes her safe. If we remove that and we think about exactly the same way to create that revenue somewhere else, and it's not something that's really possible or that easy, then it means that she cannot do it again. And when we do the too good to be true shift, which is my methodology when I want to change my attachment, when we do the too good to be true shift, we shift the entire thing, not just the goal, not just the way it's coming. So for example, let's take my client for example, $20,000 a month that she is losing from a really big gig, right? I asked her, name me 3 to 5 different ways that you could create that money again that will feel exciting to you. And then how can we make this happen? So why do I do that? First of all, is to shift the energy and to shift the frequency. Because if she is in the scarcity and the lack, because all of a sudden she knows she's losing a big majority part of her revenue and it's scary, and she's thinking, but what about Christmas and what about my bills and what about my, like she's gonna start thinking about all the things that it's making her feel lack around. And this is not where we want to manifest new things from. This is not what's going to give us the best idea. When I was moving to the farm, I could not find an apartment that was not 500 years old while I was building my house. And it was driving me nuts. But I was attached to, it's a village. There's no nice building. There's nothing that where I can live that's nice. So I'm gonna need to find a like compromise. And then all of a sudden I find out that my friend is building an apartment building that's luxury condo style, and I got the apartment. It was so easy, but it was not even in my zone of looking because I did not know it was possible. And I was not thinking about too good to be true until I shifted into too good to be true. I was not knowing about that option because I was focusing on all the things that it's going to bring in my life that is lack. And when I'm not thinking about the too good to be true option that I'm not sure it's available, then I'm not creating a different life. If I'm only thinking about one way, if I'm only thinking, okay, so my apartment is going to become, I'm going to find an apartment that's going to be in a small building, brand new, that my friend owns. Like it's very specific, and the chances of this happening, unless it exists, are not really big, right? So you want to think about a few different ways for your brain to think it's possible that it can happen a different way. And why we're doing this is because if you only have one way, then you're still attached. If you have many ways, it tells your brain, wait, there's actually many ways that we could make this happen. It doesn't need to happen one way. Now I can think about 5 ways that I can replace my revenue. I can think about 5 ways where my living condition would be even better. I can think about I had to let go of my main employee recently, and I found an employee that's even better than her because I was not even thinking about, oh no, I'm gonna need to find someone and then train them, and then I might go through a lot of people before I find the right one, blah blah. Like that was not, I was like, no, I'm gonna find something better. I'm gonna like take all the action that I need in order to find something better. So then I started posting job offers. I started telling people, and the way that I found this employee who's here, thank you, Kat, for being here. The way that I found her is not even something that was in my options. Literally, one of my clients messaged me and then ended up telling me that she knows someone that's has worked with her on a capacity that was a bit smaller and she could be the right fit. And then I was not even thinking about one of my clients is going to reach out to tell me that. It's not in my option. I was just focusing on I'm going to find someone good. And I was taking all of the actions for me to align to these options coming true, but also open for it to come anyway, as long as it's too good to be true. So when I think about 5 different ways to replace the revenue, 5 different ways that my living condition would be better, 5 different ways that I can find an even better employee, I think about 5 different too good to be true outcomes that are even better than what I previously thought. Then I become a match for miracles and I become a match for things that are high frequency. Because now I'm no longer thinking about things that are restricting my body. I no longer think about it's the options are not good because I found options are good. I don't know if they can come true, but at least I can raise my frequency and I can open up my mind to those options being good. And then in that field, everything is good. So the options that's perfect for me is going to manifest, even if it's not one of the ways that I named. Let me just look. Your too good to be true process is so good. I manifested 4 figures the same day. Yay! You're pure magic. Yay! I'm so glad. Okay. So the first step is find 3 to 5 different too good to be true ways where your goal could happen. Once you have these, we need to hold these ideas. It needs to be something that you remind yourself of because at the beginning, the idea will excite you. And as soon as it's going to leave your body, as soon as you're going to relax back into your daily life, you're going to stop thinking about it and you're going to go back to the lack. And I know because sometimes my clients are going to hold the energy for a few hours and then they're going to, but what if I can pay blah, blah, blah. Hey, go back to the options that we said were too good to be true because that you're going back to lack, you're going to attract the proof that this is not going to work out for you. So we want to stay in the frequency of too good to be true because we have a different vision. It's like we're putting glasses on that makes us see things that are not available for people that are low vibes. It's only when you're like literally open to miracles that you're going to see the things that the glasses are allowing you to see. So once you have your 3 to 5 ways, you need to first ask yourself, what do I need to believe in to make this come true? And this is the attachment part, and this is the identity part and the beliefs part. It means that if you don't know what you have to believe differently, it's going to be very hard for this to be something you hold because you don't believe it's possible. So if I want to manifest a new client that's going to pay me this much money, and there's multiple different ways that the money could come. It could be like, oh, instead of having one client, I could have 4 clients in my mastermind. Instead of having 4 clients in my mastermind, I could have one of my self-study courses go viral and then 20 people buy it. Instead of being that, it could be that the taxes people made a mistake and they send me money. Unlikely, but still too good to be true. So we think about all of the too good to be true ideas of how could this happen? And then what do I need to believe in order to make this come true? Because if my beliefs are not aligned with this happening, it's not going to happen. So if I believe that I got audited by the Canadian IRS this year, and I left, and that was like my biggest fear. Like I've always been afraid of that, and they found nothing, and they sent me a letter saying the audit is over and everything is. I was like, I did not give any energy. I didn't like, I could have still received money back. Like they could have found that they, I don't know, like they owe me money. That would have been good. But they didn't find anything and I didn't owe more money and like nothing. They didn't ask me to send more proof of something. Like it went so good. It was so good. It felt so good to my nervous system. And that would have been one of the ways that I need to see happen. But if I believe that every time the IRS audits someone, it's because they're going to be completely screwed and it's a nightmare and blah, 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 then I'm probably going to create that experience. So if I want it to come the way that I want, I need to change my belief system. So it's important to look, where is it that you're not actually believing this could be true? You're not actually believing that the next thing that you want to create, your next identity revenue, the next, like having a $50,000 day out of nowhere, because two clients paid in full for 6 months of one-on-one coaching. This could happen, but only if you believe it can be true. So it's important to ask yourself, like, what do I need to believe in order to make this come true? And make sure that we keep those beliefs in. And every time the scarcity comes back and you're like, uh-oh, I'm afraid because I just reminded myself I have to go to the dentist next month and now it's going to be even more like, no, go back to the too good to be true. Focus on your belief, focus on the option. And then the third part, looking for ways where it's to, okay. So the third part is now we have to think about the actions that are aligned with that. So if I'm thinking, I want to change my living conditions, and I need to believe that it actually is possible to find something that's up to my standard, even if I'm in a village where there's not really a rental economy here. There's like people buy houses here. It's not a place where people rent, so there's not a lot of options except living in the basement or renting a room. So if I need to believe that there's other ways, what do I need to start and stop doing for me to find these ways? So what do I need to start doing and what do I need to stop doing? So start doing could be, I don't know, I need to start looking into other ways to find places. Maybe I need to start asking real estate agents. Maybe I need to look at different places online, not just on Facebook Marketplace. Maybe I need to look at Airbnb and see if someone there is actually okay with renting long-term their house by the lake. Like there's so many things that I could do when I decide that the bad way is not going to happen and I need to shift it to the too good to be true. What do I need to stop doing? I need to stop waiting for an option to come to me and I need to be more proactive into finding the options. For me was to message my friend that I know is in real estate and just so happened to have a building that was across the street from where I was that was about to be built. So we need to find what is it that we need to start and stop doing. If it's money, you want to increase your revenue, then there's things that you need to stop doing, like maybe scrolling endlessly on TikTok, and maybe start selling more low ticket offers. Maybe start doing sales activities every day. Maybe start building something that has monthly recurring revenue options. Maybe start trying a new type of launch. Maybe start running ads to grow your list. Like, what do you need to stop and start doing? I kind of feel like it's redirecting a toddler. That places my mind sometimes accidentally goes, yes, it is. No, told you not to touch it. You're touching it again. And then once you're clear about what you need to start doing and stop doing, I want you to map out what does it look like in your life. So if your too good to be true option is like you're a woman that's has a $30,000 a month business, you don't have a big following, but you have a very close connected audience. You have a hot audience. So every time you sell something, it sells right away. People are buying right away. So what does that look like in a schedule? For example, if the woman that has a small audience makes a lot of money, it means that she has a hot audience, or she has very like high paying people in her audience would be two options. There's probably more option. but I'm attached to these two options right now. So how do I make this happen is I need to create the right offers. I need to sell every day. I need to have micro offers that starts making people buy and dip their toes before they jump into the big offers. So I need to have maybe 10 daily sales activities every week, selling a different thing that's low ticket, and then build a funnel that's going to sell more things. Like there's so many things I can do that's going to fit my schedule with that reality. So it's a lot of reverse engineer. It's a lot of reverse engineer. It's a lot of how am I going to make this happen? If I don't have all the tools, then I need to find the tools, or I need to find options to do it without the tools. I don't know about you, but it's happened. I'll give you an example. I'm going to put this on YouTube, so I hope I don't go to jail for what I'm about to share. I went to a festival this summer, and I'm autistic. So when something touches me, it can bother me. And I had the bracelet that I put way too tight on my wrist. And I did not know you cannot remove the bracelet once you put it. And the bracelet was something that like you need for the rest of the time. And I could not remove it, and I was unable to sleep. And I was like, if I cut it, then I cannot go back to the concert that I wanted to go, which was Our Lady Peace. And my too good to be true option is like, I'm going to figure out how to remove the thing, and I'm not going to have any issue going to Our Lady Peace. It's going to be amazing. And then I went on ChatGPT and I asked ChatGPT ways to remove the bracelet without needing to cut it off so I can put it back. And ChatGPT had many ways to be a criminal and actually hack the system. So I was able to remove the bracelet, to be able to put it back on. But since I had to cut a little things, I found a way to glue it back with a lighter. Like I became a scientist for bracelet for festival. Criminal GPT, yes. And then I went to Our Lady Peace concert. And then after the concert, I posted a video of the singer that is so hot. And then he followed me on Instagram. And then I could not go on Instagram for like 3 days because I was like, oh my God, he followed me with his personal account. And I was freaking out. And that was too good to be true because I was not attached to, if I take the bracelet out, I cannot go to Our Lady Peace. Okay. This is such a silly example, but it is the frequency of too good to be true. I'm not attached to how. I just know that if I think about other options, there's something that can surprise me and be even better than I expected, but it's gonna work my way. I am not even thinking that I need to have something that I can't or don't have in order to make it happen. The second that I think I need to have more reach on my posts in order to make more money, I need to have a bigger audience in order to make more money, I need to have more people in my DMs in order to make more money. I need, like, the second I think these things need to be there in order for me to have it, and I don't have them, I automatically attach myself to something that I can't have. So when I think, who am I going to become in order to create what I want to create, and I think about all of the options, and I get really resourceful, and I focus on the identity. I'm a woman that gets what she wants. I'm a woman that it doesn't matter how, I will figure out a way, but I will take aligned action every day. I will find a way that it can happen without it looking like what other people are doing because I'm unattached to things going this way. Then I create the result. And the reason why I want you to reverse engineer and really think about all the ways that something could work, like that you might not be thinking about right now, is because you're going to think about potentials, you're going to think about possibilities, and then if you're staying in your power and you're opening up the gates, it's gonna work. When I decided that no matter if I'm sick or not, I'm still gonna make money, the money that I made oftentimes was not coming from my effort. So if I would have thought that it has to come from my effort, it would have not, I would have not made the money. But I knew that I'm going to put in the effort that I want, but I'm going to be open for it coming whatever ways it has to come. then it created the right recipe too. It doesn't matter even if the effort is not bringing exactly the way that I was expecting, they're still bringing in the people. If I'm promoting a $200 offer and it's not selling much, but then I make a $20,000 client of that offer because they reached out because they saw the post and then they thought like, I want to work with that person. It's still my $200 offer promotion that brought in the $20,000 client. It just didn't happen the way that I thought it would. And if it would happen the way that I thought it would, it means I'm attached to it happening the way that I think it can. So I want you to practice this. I want you to practice being unattached. I want you to practice creating the life and the results and everything that you want by really thinking about the too good to be true options and then figuring out what are the aligned actions. What are the things I need to start doing, stop doing? What do I need to believe in? What does it look like in my schedule? Because it's easy to think I need to start selling more if I want to make more sales. Okay, but what does it look like in your schedule? Do you have time blocked? Are you going to be able to do it? Because if you know that you're not going to be able to do it unless you feel good, maybe you need to batch create the content before. Maybe you need to hire someone to post for you. Like, it's not just the goal, it's really taking all of the action and making sure that there's no way it can work because you are focused on it has to work. Even if it doesn't work the way that you plan it to work, it will work, and it's going to be even better than what you initially thought it could be. So that is being unattached. Being unattached is creating a relationship with the energetics of possibility, potential, and power. Staying in your power, holding the energy, creating ways that you never thought about before that could work, and being open to it working in a possibility you never even thought about. Now, we are complete with unattached. If you have any question, I'm gonna have a few minutes that I can ask questions since we have enough time. And what I want you guys to do this month and until the end of the year is I want you to create the context to be unattached with. So this morning I created something for my client, and while I was creating it for my client, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to create it for unattached too, but I'm not done yet because I thought about it right before unattached. But I'm creating a 30 days challenge for you guys where every day you have to take one action that's going to make you practice embodying the identity of the woman who's unattached. So you're going to receive for free in your email with the replay, you're going to receive a list of 60 things that you can do. And I want you to do one item per day for 30 days, not repeat the same item twice. The goal is to try different things on the list. And then at the end of the day, I want you to think about how, like, reflect on your 30-day challenge. If you want to message me to let me know about it, that would make me so happy. If you're watching this on YouTube, because this is going to go on YouTube, you're going to receive it if you opt in the unattached. So you're going to receive the replay with the challenge. So if you're just watching the replay out of nowhere, you can get it with the link in the description as well. So I want you to really practice being unattached, practice becoming the woman or whatever gender that you identify as that gets to have it all. I want you to go out of your comfort zone, because attachment is about comfort zone. Attachment is about what we know we can create. And for those who, because there's quite a bit of people that also got the Wealthy Woman Identity course that I was promoting with the reminders, and I'm actually going to add some calls. So if you were still thinking about it, the deadline was today, but I'm gonna let you until another few days to get Wealthy Woman, because I'm gonna add more modules, because there's other modules that I've done that fits the Wealthy Woman identity, so you can still get it with the discount if you wish to have it. And for those that have shared the unattached Thank you so much. I'm doing a giveaway. So the way that's going to work for the giveaway is I'm putting everyone that shared about Unattached, and you can win my Rich and Feminine program. So even if you are in the Energetic Empires, you can still participate because Rich and Feminine is not a part of the Energetic Empires. And someone that shared about Unattached, whether you share the I'm in slide or you share testimonial or experience or like a boomerang of the call and you tag me in it before Monday, I'm going to put everyone in the giveaway bowl, and then I'm gonna have one winner that's gonna win the Rich and Feminine program, because I wanted it to be about wealth, and I wanted this to really focus on the identity of Rich and Feminine. This video is also going to be the first video I put on my Rich and Feminine YouTube channel. I could talk a lot about how my attachment to needing to feel better until launching the YouTube challenge channel. The YouTube channel needed to be like, I've been delaying it because I didn't feel good enough to start producing, and the concept that I had was requiring a lot of energy, and I just decided F it. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to start putting some of my content on there. Sometimes it's going to be freshly recorded, really YouTube focused. And then sometimes it's going to be something else. And it doesn't matter as long as I walk towards having people subscribing to my YouTube channel. It's going to be perfect. It doesn't need to be made in a way that I'm attached to. I can be unattached and still see success with my YouTube. So that's another way I am practicing to be unattached. And being attached and unattached are things that we're going to keep doing all the time. We don't notice when our brain starts being attached to things. We don't notice when our identity gets built around something that validates our efforts into our results, and all of a sudden we don't have power over what's going to happen or not. So it's really something to practice. So if you want to share, you can be entered in the giveaway for that program that's worth $5,000, Rich and Feminine. So you have until Sunday. With the replay, I'm going to send you the document with the 30 days unattached free challenge that you can do on your own. And if you bought Wealthy Woman Identity on discount, there's going to be more calls added to the program as well this week. So thank you so much, guys, for coming. Thank you for being here live for this masterclass. I had a lot of fun, and I will see you on the internet. Bye.